Hello, gorgeous Taurus family. I hope you are having a beautiful and have had a beautiful September. We are now moving into October 2019. I can't believe we are here already in a very powerful, clear-cut, truth-seeking month. This is one of those months that shows up throughout the year. We have a few of these. I feel like they all have their own flavor, but of looking for truth, of getting clear-cut answers, of being able to see with great clarity and vision. And in your case, we are heading into mirror season for Tauruses. So what I mean when I say that is that a lot of energy is pouring into your opposing sign of Scorpio. For example, Mercury is going to be entering Scorpio on the 3rd, Venus will be entering Scorpio on the 8th, and of course the Sun is going to be traveling through Libra on its way to Scorpio and will be joining Scorpio on the 23rd. There's a lot of energy starting to move in that direction, and by the time we get to the end of October and then of course November onward, we are going to be fully in your mirror season. Now, I find this to be a really effective time to get really clear on who you are and why that matters. A few things are going on here. So I want to also mention that Pluto is going direct in Capricorn in your 9th house of vision and direction. So all of that integrative work that you've been doing since April with Pluto retrograde behind the scenes in your shadow and where you want control and where you want to know outcomes, you're now going to be able to take all of that information and move forward with it into the last part of this year. So this October is very good for that forward motion. And then like I said, we have all this energy starting to move into Scorpio throughout the month of October and getting us prepared for a lot, including Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, which will begin on October 31st. The moons are also really powerful for Tauruses this month. We have a full moon in Aries, which is in your 12th house, right? Your spiritual house, your hidden house, the unseen, the ethereal. And full moons are amplifiers. They illuminate what we need to see or understand about something, and Aries full moon tends to be very powerful that way, so you may be finding that's hitting you pretty personally, taking you a little bit more internal, taking you a little bit more secretive, so keep that in mind. And we also have a new moon in Scorpio on the 27th of the month. More of that mirror season energy where you look at yourself. So I'm going to start shuffling here, and I'm going to talk through the note that came up for Tauruses when I started thinking about you all and started thinking about your mirror season, started thinking about what that means for you. So there's all this energy pouring into your opposing sign, and that also has to do with relationships and how we show up to people and how we show up to connective things. Now, here's what's kind of interesting, I think, about relational energies. We're also in Libra season for a lot of this month, which affects all of us by pulling up our need to connect, our need to communicate, and find balance and harmony in relationships, right? So there's a lot of energy this month that has that pull to it. But what I find really interesting about mirror season for any sign, and for you guys specifically, is that while it is about connecting, what it's going to do is it's going to very effectively reflect back at you any relationships you have where you feel you have to wear armor, where you feel you aren't worthy, or where you feel that you need to do some more healing, or where you feel you want to just love on yourself more. The Fool popped out. I like it. I like it a lot. The inherent logic of mirror season is to make you connect more deeply with yourself. And the way that it does that is because your opposing sign is so good at showing you yourself, the energy there, right? Not all of you are going to be dating Scorpios or around Scorpios at all, but the energy there is very, very effective at showing you who you are and where you are in your journey. Queen of Swords. Boundary Queen, right? We've talked about boundaries before, Taurus. We've talked about boundaries quite a few times over the years. It really helps you see yourself clearly. So you may be finding this is a time where, two cards came out. Knight of Cups, Seven of Pentacles. There's lots of balance in these cards, actually, and I like the messages that are coming through with what I'm seeing so far. However, let's finish my thoughts. This is just a time where you may be noticing that the people who come in, the conversations you end up having with people, the scenarios you have with people really help you see clearly, right? It doesn't have to be all traumatic. It doesn't have to be dramatic interactions with people where you feel like you don't know who you are, or it's like really terrible dates or something like that. Ooh, 3 cards came out. 4 cards came out. 9 of Cups, 6 of Swords, the Tower, and Ace of Pentacles. Okay, clearing the way here, right? Don't let these cards intimidate you, by the way. There's a liberation coming in here for you. And like I said, this month, the energies, the fact that we have Venus and Mercury going into Scorpio, the fact that Pluto is direct now, that we have the powerful full moon in Aries and the new moon in Scorpio, that we are preparing. We are going to have a pre-shadow phase with Mercury for a good chunk of this month where we are getting ready for retrograde. And that means we're also going over details, and all of this energy wants to get to the truth, wants to find clarity, doesn't want to be wishy-washy, doesn't want to second guess, wants to know and make plans and decide and live with intention. Sometimes it's about being in the dreamy, watery fantasy, right? And sometimes it is about choosing and showing up and having answers, right? And so this month has that feeling to it. And for you all, because this has to do with you reconnecting with your internal magic, so that the interactions you have in October and into November are meaningful for you and are good for you, you are constantly going to be redirected to your own magic over and over and over again. And it was going to be very consistent. It doesn't have to be relentless. It doesn't have to be awful. It doesn't have to be scary. You're just going to be noticing that all the little signposts, all the little synchronicities are going to be like, remember your magic? Do you remember that magic that you have that's yours? Remember that? Well, here's a person to show that to you. So the Fool is your first card out. And you guys have had a lot of Fool energy in general this year because there's a new energetic transit going on here with Uranus working with you, and you're getting used to doing things in a different way. Uranus is a liberator. He is the rebel, the revolutionary, the electrical current, the innovation. And so he's in your sign, he's hitting you in a more personal way than some of us who are more on the collective, right? And so it's continually inviting you to your magic, continually inviting you to be this character. Now, the Fool is amazing, right? This is hope. This is belief. This is belief in the good stuff. This is like how we innately are when we are 6. And we're playing outside, right? We don't even question that we could daydream about that or ask for that or think about that experience or just have fun and play and be in the moment. So as adults, we reconnect with Fool energy, can be surprisingly challenging to let ourselves go here. So step 1 for Tauruses this month is release the armor, let yourself open to your magic and open to the good things that are next. If anything is still haunting you from other times, if anything is coming up where you feel like you need to atone for who you've been or the mistakes you've made or who you've loved or any of that's coming up, don't worry about it. Today is the day. That's what the Fool says. Today is the day. Here we are now. And I want to set my foot on a fun path. Now, the Fool also tells me that you're initiating a lot, right? There's a lot of initiation here. There's a lot of deliberate choice. The Fool wants things to be simple. He doesn't walk on 10 paths at once. He chooses a path, right? And so there's a simplicity here with this. And that goes for the Queen of Swords as well. The Queen of Swords is, and it's an interesting combo, right? This guy has no defenses, and the Queen of Swords has a big defense. However, Queen of Swords is double-edged sword, right? So on the one hand, she is a little bit more armored. She is a little bit more on her guard. She is a little bit more likely to use her words to protect her. But this is the beautiful cosmic balance, because on this hand, yeah, be open, be real. Also, Queen of Swords, let people know when you can't do something. Let people know when something isn't working for you. Let yourself know that you are held and safe, that you have this part of yourself activated in a healthy way, which means don't just do something because you feel like you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to show up to that dinner, but you're really tired because you work a lot and you need to sleep. Or because you feel like you're supposed to be this person to somebody. You don't have to do that. And you will be parsing through what this means for you this month. And that's what I mean when I say all this energy moving into your 7th house, into your oppositional sign, is going to be calling this up for you to calibrate correctly. Now, what is really interesting here is you have some things to assess. You do, because surrounding this 7 of Pentacles, we have the Knight of Cups and the 9 of Cups. And the Knight of Cups and the 9 of Cups are both very romantic, right? They're very loving. They're very nurturing energies. They believe in truth, love, and beauty. There's a lot of safety in these cards. A lot of warmth, a lot of healing going on here. And you may be finding that there is an influx of romantic energy around you, that you do feel like there is energy pulling towards you and coming towards you and wanting to be around you. These are soft energies. They are meant to have a gentle kind of landing. They're not abrasive. However, that big infusion of Cups energy is going to have you taking a moment with the 7 of Pentacles. And I do want to take a moment with the 7 of Pentacles. I do find that when we have all this influx of new energy, the Fool, the Queen of Swords, the Knight of Cups, the 9 of Cups, this is an influx of really powerful positive energy, right? And one of the things that happens is as we come out of maybe a cycle where we've had a lot more ups and downs or a lot more uncertainties or a lot more pain, into a cycle where we're getting these huge infusions of just healing energy, calming energy, soothing energy, positive energy, building energy, it makes us face up to anything that we're still carrying that had to do with how we survived past situations. And this is when it comes up really strong, and we have to sit with it and honor it and let it be. And that's part of what the 7 of Pentacles is saying, and also what the last 3 cards of this reading is saying. So the 7 of Pentacles is that assessment. It's just taking that time. What do you really want to take with you? You are going to have to be discerning, and we've talked about this before. A few months ago, we were talking about discernment and choice making, and really choose, is this what you want to bring along with you? Is this? There's something in this harvest that needs to be left behind, clearly, because, and like I said, it doesn't mean that this month that the shifts are happening this month, actually, with the 6 of Swords and the Tower, because these are cards about liberation, and they are about for being freed from any old cyclical patterns. And this is very personal for you. This can be something that you've already experienced, your Tower. You've already been liberated from things. You've already had the shift or the click or the change happen before now, earlier this year. I mean, maybe it will be this month. Maybe the click will happen this month for some of you. But there's this knowing that you've got to leave this past short. Actually, these 2 cards together really remind me of a video series that Florence the Machine does. She did like a visual album a few years ago. And there's a double hitter called Queen of Peace and then Long and Lost. It's like one video, you can find it on YouTube. That captures this right here. So if you're looking for some inspiration, you know, this is about, letting those things go, feeling the liberation, feeling the freedom, and moving forward. These are traveling energies. These are not about stagnation. It's not about sticking with what you already know. It's not about sticking with what's familiar. We like familiarity, even if we know it's not for us. And for you, you have all this influx of all this powerful, healing, good, nurturing energy, right? You have all this romantic energy. This is adventurous energy, intellectual energy, ideas springing up, really good community, really good soft spots to land, you know, in the end of the day, to come home and reconnect. All of that is bringing up for you. Once again, mirror season is a very, very effective tool to be able to see yourself clearly, what it is you're leaving behind, how to honor it, and say goodbye. These are liberating cards. Sure, there's bittersweetness in it, you know, because as we honor something, we release it, we let it go. There are emotions that come with it. However, for you, in breaking that open, abundance, right? I think sometimes we don't even see where we're blocking ourselves, where we kind of put up a structure or a tether or a tie. We don't really see it in our day-to-day lives. We're doing all the things we're supposed to be doing. We're showing up to what we're supposed to be showing up to. We're loving on ourselves. We're doing the creative work. And, sometimes we don't even see these little things that hold us, right? We don't see the impact they're making. There's no way that that's really impacting me. But if you have some connective force in your life that you haven't taken just that moment to release, you can find that you feel a little stagnated. Maybe life is moving along just fine, but you can't quite get that get up and go energy. The Ace of Pentacles here is that influx of energy coming in as something is released. So I do feel like this is a catalytic month for Tauruses to be able to release and shift. And I have to say, this is really important. It's important for us each to follow our timelines and our timing when it comes to letting something go. Because if we try and force release before it's time, what ends up happening is we're like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I'm done with this today, this week, I'm going to I'm just going to cut that cord and it's going to be gone. And if that's not actually what we're feeling, even though we know that's our long range goal and that will happen eventually, but that's not actually soul-wise where we're at, and it isn't that moment that really connects. Yes, show up, do your work, ask the questions, but it has to be the right timing for that release to happen. It really does happen in its own organic way within each of us. So we can't force it. So it's something that has to happen through your practices and through how you show up. But it doesn't need to be forced, right? This is something that happens through the process. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to pull one more card from my Cosmic Tarot to close out our reading today. And it is the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is very good at listening to her emotive qualities, right? She is a very good magic keeper. No matter what deck you are using with Queen of Cups, she's always got this cup, that she is investing energy in, right? And it's her own magical little world that is bubbling and opening up here. And Queen of Cups energy is very nurturing to our intuitive guidance systems. And I know that that's been used a lot. It starts to become kind of meaningless. What does that even mean? But I mean that in the soft, quiet moments. That's where you're going to be getting all that freedom energy. It's not always about the big displays. And for you this month, I feel that the big displays are not important. All the good stuff's coming towards you. That's great. The big things are happening inside. Very quietly, almost under the radar. Probably a lot of other people will not know all the things that are going on there with this recalibration energy and with this release energy. And I do think for some of you are going to have some big hits of romance this month. I do. This is a very romantic month. It's a very good month if you are in partnerships or you're in deeper connective bonds to do some amazing stuff. There's a lot of nurturing energy here for that to really build. Just keep in mind that as you build in that next level, you're also releasing something from previous iterations. And this is a time to release, to surrender, to wash away, to let go. So all of that energy is working with you. Kind of Queen of Cups energy and the Fool are both your totems this month. These are your emblems that you can reconnect with time and again. So keep those energies in mind. I'm really excited for October for you. I really do think this is a big breakthrough month for Tauruses. Freeing month, nurturing month, loving month, connective month, clarity month. So, with that being said, I'm very excited that I have my Patreon page now open, and that is where I'm going to be adding so much extra stuff, including Pluto going direct video, a Mercury retrograde and Scorpio video coming up. I'm going to be writing up weekly astrology forecasts so you get a sense of the energies and how to work with them and what's coming up for that. So all of that plus more personal stories from me and my journey as a sensitive, and there will be new material every single week. So if you're interested in that, it's just one tier, and once you've signed up, you have access to all of those goodies. So I hope you will join me over on Patreon. That would be amazing to see you there. You can also find me on my website, SARAHTAROT.com, and I have a sprinkling of sessions left in 2019, so if you're interested, I would highly recommend hopping over to my calendar, booking that one-on-one reading. There's only a few left, I think, depending on when you're watching this, so I would check that out if you're interested in working with me. I'll leave all of my Patreon and contact info in the description box. You can also find me on Instagram at SarahVerba. I would love to see you over there as well. We always have fun. So all of those options would be amazing. I hope to see you on any of these places. I hope you have a beautiful October. We're going to get into November. We have a lot more that's going to be coming up with Mercury retrograde in your opposing sign. And this is going to be a great time to do some workshopping and some idea sprouting. But we'll get into that in November. So in the meantime, I love you. Take such good care of yourselves. And of course, how could I forget? PinkLune. She's got some beautiful new altar pieces and things like that that you can really enjoy. So go check out her shop if you are interested in working with her or with getting some of her beautiful, ethically sourced rocks and stones. I will see you all very soon, and I love you.